Hi guys, so let's talk about adding value with pen. So at this point you have gone to your value scales page in your sketchbook and you've added 4 more little rectangles about 5 inches by ½ an inch. Please use the ruler so they come out nice. And you've labeled them hatching, cross hatching, stippling, and scribble. Okay? So let me give you some pointers on hatching. Hatching is just line, right? So nice clean lines. The important thing here, guys, is to take your time and do this slowly and like you mean it. You don't want to try to rush through this or it will all look kind of like poop. So let's go to hatching. And the closer my lines are together, the darker it's going to seem, right? So I'm going to get these lines nice and close in the dark area. And then they're slowly going to start to open up. Now I would say, because I'm doing a scale here, I would probably keep them at about the same level for maybe like, I don't know, 20 lines, 15 lines, and kind of work your way down that way. Now maybe a little bit less. We're opening them up. About halfway we look like that. Then it's going to be more open. And obviously I'm doing this way more rush than you do, or you're going to, just because of for the demo purposes, okay? So there we go. Now this feels really spread out, like it's really dark here and then it just kind of gets light. So the cool thing about this is that I can always go back and fix it by putting more lines in between wherever I feel. But because this is still just hatching, I'm just going to keep those in the same direction as before. Okay, and that feels a little bit more even. Maybe one more in here. All right. Now, cross hatching, same exact thing with a little bit of the opposite direction on top. So, doing this much faster than you should. I'm gonna do my lines here. Oops, that got too far away. Then they're going to start to open up and open up more and more, like that. Okay. Now I'm going to go back over and make almost like a fishnet pattern, going in the opposite direction. And then opening it up more and more. Now I like to do these at an angle, it just kind of feels right to me, but some of you might want to do like long. I don't know how you would make that work, because eventually, no, that wouldn't work. But you might want to do a more acute angle, that's up to you, okay? But I find that the sort of X look works best. Okay. Stippling. Now stippling is the one that takes the longest, it's the hardest, you need the most patience for, but it ends up looking absolutely the best. So when I make my stipple dots, I'm taking my time. They're going to be random, right? They're not lined up perfectly. Can they overlap? Yes, definitely in the darker area. But do I want them to be all the same size and shape? Yes, absolutely. So what makes this appear darker and then lighter is the frequency of the dots. So we're going to have lots and lots of dots almost completely covering each other in the darkest area. Just like this, just keep touching it to it. You really don't have to do anything other than just put that pen down and touch it to the paper nice and evenly. So you'll see I'm just kind of doing like this with my wrist. Yes, they're going to be covering each other. Now, stippling can get a little bit tiresome, and it can also be kind of, because you're just concentrating on these tiny little dots, it can be hard to see the sort of the big picture. So I like to go ahead and put in sort of like my goals here. This is going to be a good medium value, right? And this will be the lightest value, so like barely anything. So we have to kind of go from here to there. Maybe I'll do a medium one in between these to help me kind of figure it out. So it's got to look half as dense as this and twice as dense as that. What do you think? That works, right? Okay, so now that helps me get from here to there and from here to there. Some little tips about stippling. If you rush your stippling, your stipples will not look like dots anymore. They'll look like little check marks. We don't like that. So let's zoom in here so you can see. See those ones with a little line? That's a no. Don't do that. Okay. Keep them nice and even like they are here. Let me see if I can get some more shots of me just working it out like this. See? Just a nice, conscious, careful dotting. Go into your little Zen mode here. Listen to your music, relax, just make some dots and breathe. Okay, another thing, when you're doing this, if I can hear you stippling, you're stippling wrong, okay? You shouldn't make a noise. You shouldn't be stabbing your paper with your pen. Now again, I can go back. If I feel like I got too light too fast, I can go back and fill in more. And you just want a gradual lessening of the number of dots. But again, keep them random, keep them the nice, clean, round shape. Now, I will give you the pens for this. You do not want to be trying to do this with the pens that you take notes with for class. It just won't work. The ink doesn't come out properly. You really want an art pen for this. Okay, so on and so on until you're done. Now, scribble. That's the fun one. Scribble is exactly what it sounds like. It's scribbling. So, just some nice loose organic lines. Actually, they're pretty tight over here. Tight, close together organic lines that then slowly start to open up. Can you do all these techniques with pencil? Yeah, you can. There's really not any rule that says it has to be pen. But you can't really do continuous tone with pen unless you add water-soluble ink and water. Okay, so that feels pretty good. Maybe it needs to be a little bit darker in here. But it doesn't have to be one continuous line. You can layer. Okay, so there you go. There's your different techniques. Have fun.